The following is an excerpt from the Brain Gain Youngstown Leadership Series. The new podcast features conversations with local leaders who are focused on building a culture of entrepreneurship and promoting workforce development.
Is there a leadership style or philosophy that you've adopted over time? I hear you use the word collaboration, and some people think leadership is very top-down, but I'm hearing...
I think, look, you make the person at the top needs to make decisions and be accountable, but you have to lead by example.
Right.
I mean, that would be my leadership. I don't expect people to work harder than I work. And if I don't work hard, then I'm setting an example to everybody else that you can be a slacker.
Right.
That if I don't, I want to be the most well-informed one in the conversation. And you know what? I don't do that by not reading and not making the effort to try to keep up on information. And so, if you as the leader set the standard, everybody else will follow. I've seen it work in both directions. I see it around Capitol Square and around politics happen, where you have leaders that take shortcuts and don't do things the right way. And that becomes the culture, and people think that's the way you do it. And that's a deviation amplifying model, rather than you want to have a model that is virtue amplification, where you see people do the right things, more people do the right things, and then we're all better off.
Right. Well, you work with a diverse set of stakeholders, right, across the state. How do you manage, what style do you use to work with that diverse set of stakeholders?
Well, you always have to know what you want to accomplish in any situation you're in. Mm-hmm. What is your goal? I mean, how many conversations or meetings have you've been in that just kind of ran aimlessly because no one knew what they were there to actually accomplish?
Right.
Articulate what you want to accomplish. Listen to what the other people are that they want to accomplish, and see how you build a bridge. See how you bring people together. Because a lot of times our disagreements are usually not about the goals. It's about the means for achieving them. A lot of times people have ulterior motives for why they're recommending a path. That's why you got to know your stuff, and you got to know what you're trying to achieve, and have the facts to support the direction you're trying to go.
Right. Has there been a situation in your career from a leadership standpoint where you've perhaps made a mistake, and what key learnings did you take away from that, and how did that?
A time? You mean how many times, right?
Right.
Of course we make mistakes, particularly if you're willing to lead, you're going to make mistakes.
Right.
Every time you do, you try to assess why, where did we go wrong? Usually it's because you didn't get enough people involved in the decision. You had somebody driving the decision that wanted to isolate you from the information you really needed to make the decision. Those are all factors. It's usually from not getting enough information, not listening well enough, acting with haste. And there's always that fine line, is because you want to be decisive, but you wanted to be informed and decisive, and trying to find that right balance is always a challenge in leading.
The interview you just watched is an excerpt from the Brain Gain Youngstown Leadership Series. The new podcast features conversations with local leaders who are focused on building a culture of entrepreneurship and promoting workforce development.
For over a century, Farmers National Bank has stood strong. Through booms and busts, peaks and valleys, we've learned to know the seasons and how to grow in each of them. During challenging times, everyone is reminded of the value of solid relationships in both life and business. Farmers, stand strong.